sensitive. It's true. Alligator tears cried over you. Over you, over you. Over you, over you.
Hello! You can't tell, but this is happening. What a cute couple. I am here finally with the second installment of By Buddy Read, which is a project that I am running with Malins from Just Malins, where every month or so we read a book about bisexuality or queerness more generally, and then we talk about it. And we encourage you to participate and be involved as much as you would like. And this month, our read, which I'm so excited to talk about, is She of the Mountains by Vivek Shreya. This book for me was very hyped. It was one of the books that I have had the most amount of people commenting on and suggesting and being really just generally excited for me to read it. And now I see why, because much like Vivek herself, this book is beautiful in every possible way. I mean, first off, the paper quality makes me weep into my pillow at night. Also, it features illustrations all throughout that are used mostly white, green, and black. These are all done by Raymond Bézinger. As I mentioned in my last video where I hauled the book, it is about a person's experience of their own queerness and coming to terms with it, and experiencing that through different stages of their life, as well as a retelling of Hindu mythology. And that intertwining was incredible. It was amazing. But reading this book was basically like watching every queer anxiety I've ever had be bled onto a page, and it's one of the best articulations of that I've ever had the chance of being exposed to. The book also covers so many things, like how once you realize that the desires you have are queer and somehow not the norm and are therefore probably wrong and terrible and awful, that like the shame that comes with that. And like that's something that I experienced for a really, really long time, and it's something that can be very hard to step out of, and like I found personally that still kind of follows you in insidious ways that you don't always realize. For instance, one of the things that comes up later in the book is how that, and obviously other things, can materialize in just never feeling good enough. Like never feeling like you are enough or that anything you do is enough, because like I don't think people realize like the experience of realizing that you're queer. It's different for everyone, but for people who struggled with that, like how that affects so many other places of your life that don't necessarily seem that connected. Like that's one of my central insecurities, is that I'll never be enough or good enough, and that comes from a lot of different places, but one of them is by not being straight. It also talks about a phase that I also went through, which is when you start to use the labels that have been used or you have used to degrade yourself for so long, and how weird that can be. And obviously what I really, really loved about this book, or what I really connected to in this book, is the insecurities and anxiety around being someone who is not fully gay and not fully straight, and what it's like to start to find community, but then also realize that that community might not support or accept you because you're not fully gay. There's two quotes that I think really sum this up. The first one is on page 77 if you want to follow along, which is where he starts a relationship or starts being involved with a woman, and he says that I'm gay meant that a part of him felt that there must be a better, truer kiss waiting for him somewhere, which is my life. Because there's like, I've always felt at the back of my mind that there is this like, or actually a lesbian, like, or this actually like, maybe you are just gay, or this idea that if you are in the middle, there is like, oh sure, you like this gender, but really you're gay, or really you're straight, like deep down you have to be something. And like and it feels like nothing you experience is ever really valid or right when it comes to being attracted to other people. And then also, the next quote is on page 108, where the character is talking about, interacting with like the gay community or the gay movement, queer community, as someone who presents as being gay but is dating a woman. And it says, it occurred to him that the gays and the straights had more in common than he had considered before. Just like the straights, the gays were intent on preserving and presenting a uniform, singular version of themselves, in this case their gayness. They hadn't been saying, you're gay, you're gay. They were actually saying, our way, our way. And this book is absolutely amazing in how it talks about love, and specifically there's the theme of how to love one's brownness through loving someone else, and what it's like to love someone else, and how that teaches you to love yourself. It's just, I cry. I cry. As I've said, this book is gorgeous in every way possible, in the illustrations, and the text, and the writing, just all of it. And it's also full of a lot of pain. But it's also full of a lot of humor and beautiful things. It's it all. It's everything. It's the whole thing. It's all of it. That's what this book is. All of it. Mostly what really struck me, what really impacted me about this book was how much truth it had. Like, there's so much truth in this book, and I think that was an important thing for me to recognize, because lately I've only been expressing myself through like academic writing, where the truth is a very specific thing of logically presenting arguments that you can back up through very specific kinds of sources and types of knowledge. And even when I, you know, write in journals and stuff and just like expressing yourself and your own truth, it's still a very like, I feel this way because of these reasons, blah blah blah. It's truth because it's me in my life doing it. But this book is an experience of truth, and things that have been impactful, but done in a creative way. So that was really important for me to realize and remember at this time in my life. That was me talking about She of the Mountains by Vivek Shreya. I will obviously have Malin's video below, which I highly encourage you to watch. And if you ever want to discuss with us about this, you can do so in the comments and on Twitter using the hashtag bibuddyread, and I'll have links to all of our like social media and stuff below, because we'd love it if you would want to talk to us about it, talk about your own feels. Always here for that. There's also been 2 videos made by people who were inspired to after they saw the first by Buddy Read, and they're both on She of the Mountains. One of them is by Fee, who I'm having troubles like getting the correct link to, but when I find it, it'll be down there, as well as Anna from, or Anna, I'm not sure, from the channel the Nastertims. I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't. The Nastertims. So those will obviously be linked below. I hope you're having a good time, a good day. I bid you adieu. Oh, this is harder than it looks. How do all those vloggers do it? Okay, there we go. Juicy.